Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. This week we've been looking at David Heller's book, Just Build the Ark and the Animals Will Come, in which he asks children about well-known Bible stories and gets their take on them. Just like adults, sometimes they get things wrong. Sometimes they get things right, too. And sometimes they get things wrong in a way that opens us up to see something right in a new way. So I'm sharing some of the kids' comments to amuse us, but also in many cases to show us something deeper too. Today we want to talk about Noah. The kids were asked, how did Noah first discover that the land had dried up enough for a landing? Jeb, who was age 9, said, God left a sign that said, ready for landing, Noah. Park the boat right here. Latoya, age 11, answered, whenever the ship bumped into the shore and knocked everybody down, then it was time to land. The one I want to focus on was by a 7-year-old named Emilio, who said, a rainbow that was shaped like an arrow pointed to where the land was. Our world is full of pointing, and so often we are eager to point out what is wrong with our world or with somebody else. We are judgmental and harsh with each other, looking down our noses at people who sin differently than we do, and forgetting that we are sinners just like them. We can be so sanctimonious, can't we? But a rainbow shaped like an arrow is such a wonderful idea. You see, a rainbow is a sign of promise and hope and salvation. You remember when the first rainbow appeared, after Noah and his family and all the animals left the ark, the Bible tells us that God rested his weapon in the clouds. God hung up God's bow rather than using it any longer to send arrows of judgment and destruction. God's weapon was put aside, and God promised never to send judgment that way again. And the bow in the sky was the sign of that. And any time we see that bow, we are to be reminded of God's commitment to us and of God's everlasting love and grace for us. So maybe instead of judgmentally pointing arrows in our relationships, we ought to have arrows made of rainbows, arrows that point to relationships of promise and hope and salvation. We should live with arrows pointing to each other that speak of God's commitment to us all, arrows of grace. I think rainbow arrows would be a good thing to point our way throughout life. There are 2 more comments from kids that need to come in here too. When asked what the rainbow symbolized, Janet, age 10, said, rainbows always mean everything is going to be okay from now on. What a powerful promise of hope. And what a proclamation of resurrection. Just when it seems that all is lost, new life is given, and everything is going to be okay from now on. And then when children were asked what Noah and his family said when they first came off the ark, Anita, age 7, answered, that rainbow was pretty. I hope it doesn't have to rain again for 40 days and 40 nights before we see it again. Me too. In fact, I think it is one of the gifts of God that the gift of grace for us is renewed over and over and over in our lives. In countless ways, God assures us of everlasting love and that we are held in God's warm and strong embrace. The Lord of hosts is with us, Psalm 46 says. The God of Jacob is our stronghold. Know this, God is our stronghold, and God has a strong hold on us. God's love is never broken. Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.